Today on TimesCast, in leaked diplomatic cables, U.S. officials express concern over the security of highly enriched uranium in Pakistan. Young people in the island nation of the Maldives face a growing scourge of drug addiction.
Do you think it's easy to get drugs in Maldives?
Yeah, it's very easy.
And a report from the red carpet at the Gotham Independent Film Awards. In Wednesday's Times, a report on the frayed relations between the U.S. and Pakistan.
So, Eric, you've been reporting on Pakistan for several years. Was there anything you were expecting to see in these dispatches?
There were three areas that my colleagues and I were looking at as we went through these documents. The first was to look at the security and safety of Pakistani's nuclear arsenal. Second was to look at the continuing cooperation, or sometimes lack thereof, between Pakistan and the United States in fighting terrorism, particularly fighting some of the al-Qaeda elements that are in Pakistan's tribal areas. And the third area was looking at the often contentious relationship between Pakistan's weak civilian government, led by President Zardari, and the very powerful army, the Pakistani army, led by General Kayani.
What was your main takeaway after reading these dispatches?
I think the main takeaway from this is to underscore just how contentious a relationship this is between the United States and Pakistan. They still haven't agreed on an arrangement to remove some highly enriched uranium that's been in a research reactor there for decades, even though both sides know they need to get rid of this. And there remains a great tension between the civilians and the military on the Pakistani side, and the United States often finds itself as trying to be a broker in between, and not a very effective one often.
The Maldives' main industry is tourism, but as video journalist Mariana Keller reports, there's a darker side to the sunny islands.
The Maldives, a tiny island country south of India, is the postcard of paradise and a playground for pampered tourists. But in the islands away from the eyes of tourists, an alarming number of youth here have become addicted to heroin. UNICEF estimates that as many as 50% of the youth are addicted to some type of drug.
You won't find a single family in this country who doesn't either have a member directly in the family involved in the in drug dependency, or a near relative.
In broad daylight, two young dealers walk around town.
I started before these people. That time I was bored.
Do you think it's easy to get drugs in Maldives?
Yeah. It's very easy though. It's very, very easy.
He shows me 1 gram packets of a type of heroin known as brown sugar, the most common here. They are afraid to show their faces. If caught, they could face up to 25 years in jail. Ali Adib was addicted to heroin for 17 years. Now he works in an organization helping recovering addicts.
Previously it was a little bit difficult. We had to go out and try to find who is selling it and go there and buy it. But now it's completely different. Now it's through the cell phone. I mean, just imagine, usually for you to get a pizza in Maldives, it will take around 30 minutes, but for you to order some brown sugar or some heroin, it will take you just 5 minutes for it to be at your doorstep. People don't care anymore, not as much as when it started. Through the acceptance of addicts in the society, by the mainstream society, because people have started accepting it as a part of life.
Hi, how are you? Good, Milena with the New York Times.
And Milena Rysick hits the red carpet at the Gotham Independent Film Awards.
Let me tell you what's going on. There are hundreds of people crowded into the space. There is pushing, shoving, yelling, sweating, violence. I'm talking, of course, about the red carpets. It's the start of another award season.
I'm trying to work in here. Can we talk to these guys?
So we're at the Gotham Awards, which is traditionally the start of the New York award season hoopla, but they feel a little bit like a different kind of show because they honor indie movies, tiny movies with tiny budgets and no stars, to medium-sized movies with medium-sized budgets and big stars.
It's really hard right now, independent film. There was this incredible peak a few years ago, and now it's been really hard. Black Swan was probably harder to make than any film I ever did because I thought because I was doing something sexy with Natalie Portman and Vincent Cassel, I thought it was going to be really easy. And then we had to split our budget by 2/3.
You know, everyone here who has a film has fought long and hard to get them made because that's the nature of independent film.
That's
so
right,
it definitely
yeah.
adds energy to the evening when you've got, you know, blood in the game, as they say.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
So, do award shows matter?
It's American to care who wins, because the most important thing is that the other people lose. It's not the winning, it's the other people losing. That's the satisfying part.
A small film, Winter's Bone, won the top 2 awards. For some of the films here tonight, it is just the beginning of the hoopla. For others, it's the end. But I have a feeling we'll be hearing about Kids Are All Right and The Black Swan and Winter's Bone throughout the season.
Join us again tomorrow for TimesCast.